This is Con Carne, a Q101 podcast presented by Alex Ross Art, alexrossart.com. Alex Ross just launched a collector's club. If you want to basically subscribe to Alex Ross, so much cool stuff. You can see all of it or get a hint of what's to come at alexrossart.com. Alex is also on YouTube, one of the greatest artists in the history of comics and graphic novels, at The Alex Ross on YouTube. And if you're watching on video right now on YouTube or Facebook, here's a little hint of what Alex Ross is all about.
It's Con Carne. Let's eat in the car. It's Con Carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
I want you to be on my team. Here's the thing. Back in March, I climbed all 30 floors of the Oak Brook Terrace Tower as part of the Fight for Air climb with the American Lung Association. All 30 floors, it was hard, it was worth it, and we're doing it again. This time, we're taking it downtown, the Fight for Air climb at Soldier Field. We're going to take on Soldier Field, take on the steps, go up and down through Soldier Field. It's just us, the American Lung Association, and you can be part of the team. Go to fightforairclimb.org/Chicago. Once you're there, click register as a team member. And when you do that, search for Con Carne. Or you can start your own team if you want, but I'd love you to be part of my team. Go to fightforairclimb.org/Chicago, search for Con Carne, and join the team. It's $35 to register. You can take $10 off using my promo code Carne10, and I hope to see you on the stairs. So safety and security are things that you and I want, need, and expect. What if you could always come home to a well-lighted house, knowing that you and everyone inside was safe? Or know that that package you've been waiting on was delivered and secured? Embrace the future of smart living. Empower your home with intuitive control. Call my guy Dan at Easy Automation for a free, no-hassle quote. 630-730-3728. Call him. I mean, this is really Dan's number. He's waiting for you to call. And when you do, no joke, he'll pick it up and say, "Hello, I am Dan with Easy Automation. How can I tell you about the future of smart living with Easy Automation?" So you can call him, or if you're shy, go to easy-automation.net and get yourself set up with a free, no strings attached quote and learn how you can transform the way you live.
Drool on somebody's shoulder.
Drool on somebody's shoulder.
No.
That's the only way to be a band.
That is. that is prerequisite. Doesn't matter if you can play.
Can you deal with other people's odors, and can you let somebody drool on you?
How do you block out the odors on the road if you're in a van?
I mean, it's PG-13 response, but I guess just smoke more weed.
I tried to do laundry every 2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
Because it's cool, because like a lot of times people will give you a place to stay, and then let you do the laundry there. So
some of the venues occasionally have washer and dryer, but I'm not sure.
And showers too.
Yeah, it's rare when they have showers, but it's so nice.
I do remember playing Reggie's one of the first times when they had a washer and dryer. I'm not sure if they still do.
Reggie's now has their upstairs is an Airbnb / green room. It is the most luxurious band space, I think, in all of Chicago music venue in the entire landscape.
I heard the Salt Shed's green room's pretty sweet.
I still haven't been.
Salt Shed probably just has like they fixed up a old employee lunch area.
I haven't been to a show yet, but I went to their holiday party because one of my coworkers at Bottom Lounge does security there as well.
Got it.
And so got a nice Salt Shed Lululemon side bag. They
Nice.
yeah, they're like they don't mess around. They give out some nice stuff.
You don't strike me as a Lululemon guy.
I'm not, but I'm pretty sure that costs a lot. So I was like, I'll take one.
Free
That's
swag.
free.
Like a form-fitting, moisture-wicking clothing. It's not for guys like us.
When you come see us at a show, I'll rock some Lululemon.
Well, I mean, we like
workout wear.
we like wrestling, so
You do. All right.
Oh yeah.
little cosplay.
I suppose now is the time I should introduce who you are,
Okay.
since we've talked about all the important stuff already. It's East Moon in my car. Not all of them, the majority of them. To my right, if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, it is Jacob.
Hello.
In the back seat, it is Tera and Santi. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
What's up, James?
I'm glad you could all be here. And I had to tell Santi, I'm like, you can't bring everyone. I used to think it was more fun and chaotic. Yeah, bring everybody. We'll pack them in. Then I realized it sounded terrible, like with 5 people trying to jump on one mic. So this is a more civil way to do the podcast.
All right.
So
yeah.
thank you for playing along.
Of course.
All right, so
Happy to be here.
East Moon, we're recording this the first week of April. At the very end of the week, this is exciting, we get this. The new EP, 6 songs, available for streaming, available on Handsome. Did you say purple?
Yes.
Purple vinyl.
Purple opaque.
Purple opaque. I don't want to open it because I'm going to get my sweaty fingerprints all over it. That's what I'm going
at
to
your
do.
leisure. That's your gift.
I love this. I'm so excited about this.
Thank you.
Are you a collector? Do you,
Yeah,
Yes, actually.
Yeah. Tara and myself, I know for sure. Santi.
I have a decent collection, but my collection's majority like local bands, friends bands that put out vinyl, just because I didn't want to not have those because it's cool and
I
rare.
love collecting local vinyl.
Yeah.
Case in point.
It's so
Yeah.
cool and rare to be able to get from a local band.
Some of these bands, this might be the only vinyl they press, and then you have it forever.
Yeah.
And it's just, if anything, it's a memento of that time.
I agree.
A lot of the stuff that myself and Tara collect, we like a lot of the hardcore bands for the same reason. They do a lot of limited vinyl. And Tara actually has a humongous collection of Prince vinyls, like
Really?
rare and like original pressings and stuff like that.
I think I probably have about 65 just Prince records.
Yeah, that's just Prince.
My whole middle section of our cubicles is just Prince records.
Yeah.
I think the first Prince record I ever owned was Controversy, which was a weird place to start.
Yeah. It's a little controversial place to start. I mean,
Any Christian, it's a weird, like, as opposed to 1999 or Purple Rain.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot grittier
Yeah.
than those. He went a little more new wave
Yes.
towards 1999 and really added synthesizers and that Minneapolis sound beat that he created in those. And Controversy was so gritty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was more rock and roll for sure. Not that he wasn't. I think everything Prince did was rock and roll, in my opinion.
He had the swagger.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what the sounds were. He had rock and roll swagger.
It's
to the
just
end.
it's just like, actually, we have a Kurt Cobain quote that we use in our set where it's punk rock should mean freedom, liking and accepting who you are and playing what you like, no matter how sloppy it is, as long as it's good and has passion. And so I would say
You've got that down.
Yeah, I love it. I live by that. You would say.
I'm
Let's
really
just say I grew up on stuff like that.
I'm really happy that he likes that quote for the sloppy part, just because you get away with a little more.
So, okay, Friday is when this comes out, and we'll talk
Yes.
about the music. Also, Burlington. We are parked on Fullerton, just west of Kimball, right in front of Burlington. I was trying to figure out where we should meet. I figured, well, you're going to be doing a show there. It's topical. Let's just meet in front of Burlington.
It's a good
here we are.
idea.
Yeah, why not? You know the area, Burlington. So on the 12th of this month, April 12th, it is the release show for End Transmission. And then, is this true? You're opening for Alien Ant Farm soon?
Yes,
That's
sure are.
Tuesday, June 4th, I believe, at Bottom Lounge.
Oh, that's
Yep.
amazing.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity for us. We're excited.
It's a great room for you to play.
Yeah.
But let's get past Burlington first. Burlington on April 12th. Now, here's the plot twist to us meeting here on Fullerton. So I'm sitting here. I always arrive about an hour early because I have to set up the gear, and then I like to record my sponsor messages before the guest is in the car so it doesn't feel awkward for them. As I'm sitting there, this long-haired dude was walking slowly past the car, and he looks at me. I'm like, oh shit, that's David Baxo, who I first came to know when he was creative director at Kuma's. But these days, he is the king of macarons. He's got Bad Channel macarons, which are macarons that are horror movie themed.
Yes.
Now, here's the best part. Or here's the best one for the camera.
Ah,
Oh, must be a new one.
Cookies
I
and
like that.
Scream. Cookies and Scream.
Way to go, Davey.
Got its own little case. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It is.
He knows what he's doing.
It's a standalone. This is hilarious. So this is his thing. He sells these at the Brewed,
Yeah.
I love that
Milwaukee,
place.
which appropriately enough.
Occasionally he'll do where he'll drop off, but I know that's a lot of work. So if you want him, go to the Brewed.
So I thought we'd have some macarons.
That sounds great.
delicious.
Oh yeah.
Let me see if I can scan the camera real quick.
Sure.
I know the green is a Troll 2 macaron.
Yeah, the corn.
The corn is Children of the Corn.
Corn.
This is Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yes.
The pink is like a bubble gum. And then the other one, I forgot what he said that was. But
I can't see from here. Fun fact. Well, two fun facts about David. One, he's one of mine and Tara's best friends. He was.
it's like he knew this was going to happen.
Yeah. I got a hold of him earlier today, and I said, hey, I should have asked you this over the weekend, but would you mind maybe hooking me up with some macarons for this? I was like, I know you're familiar with James Van Osel, and it would be cool. So sure enough, he said, no problem. I just got to do some things first. But another thing, he's one of our best friends. He was in our wedding as
That's amazing.
one of
He's a
my
good dude.
groomsmen. Yes. We go back almost 20 years, and yeah, he's one of the best guys I know.
So the Troll 2 is pistachio. Children of the Corn is corn. Killer Clowns, cotton candy. And then I can't figure out what this other one is. It's going to kill me.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
It might be Pumpkinhead.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it is. He told me what it was, and it completely fell out of my head. In any event, I want you to take what you want.
Okay. Tara,
Pass this on back.
ladies first.
He's a food genius.
Another thing too is Tara's also a baker, and she might possibly help him with expansion. That she was being taught the recipes at a point.
Really?
That kind of
Yeah.
fell apart. Yeah. But that's not to say it's over. It's just things happen sometimes.
I gotta go Tro's too.
Troll 2. Pistachio.
Well, I actually like the corn one quite a bit. Thank you.
I'm going to go for the mystery one.
Oh, let's see what it is.
Wow,
Can you
this
hear
is
me?
amazing.
This is like ASMR for somebody.
Or the opposite.
Yeah.
So this is
delicious.
like peanut butter and caramel. This is awesome.
Yeah.
David, you rock. Thank you. It's a bad channel. And please divide up the rest and have the cookies and Scream.
Did you want it?
I'm totally gonna.
He's
do
like,
that one.
give it to
Sure.
me.
What was the one? That
That's
one?
the mystery one. But he said it's like peanut butter.
I'm going with mystery. Right between you guys.
Thank you.
And he told me.
Delicious.
He told me what it was, and I completely.
Oh.
In the 15 minutes since he walked out of my car, I forgot.
I could text him, but
Yeah,
we'll leave it a mystery. And if
That
you
would
want
mean-
to find out what it is, you go check out the Brewed, and then you'll know.
I'm glad I passed the other ones back. I mean, I could tear through a sleeve of those,
Yeah,
no problem.
same.
I mean, there's one left. Just so
Nope.
you know.
Nope.
I'll take it.
Ah, thank
It's
you.
right there.
Oh, hey, it's the one I like too.
All right.
Well, I like all of them.
And
I'm all
transmission. I want to get into that.
Yes.
Before we do, give us some backstory for those who are new to East Moon, don't know the band. Can you encapsulate your history?
Well, as far as East Moon, I guess we're comprised of people that were in other bands. We've all been playing music in Chicago. Myself and Tara were in a band called Standing on the Shoulders of Giants. Santi was in the New Diet and Burst in the Bloom. And just between us, we've played like almost every cool venue in Chicago at this point.
Yep.
But
I believe that's true.
but the truth is, like, East Moon started in almost at the end of 2019, beginning in 2020, with myself, Tony Casanova, and Tara, and we had another bass player named Eric. Myself, Tara, and Eric were coming off of another band that we just started, but it didn't really pan out. We didn't really do much. Came across our drummer DJ. We kept running into him. We had mutual friends. He was in another band called Low Country, who also played all kinds of cool venues in Chicago, did little tours as well. And we just started jamming. And right away, it was an instant chemistry.
When you know, you know.
Right, exactly. And you know, Tony was my first guitar player ever. Like, ever. When I was a young kid starting to play, he was my first guitar player.
Right, Jacob. So, when I first met everybody, and they told me it was Tony Casanova, I was like, bullshit. That's not that's not your name. Because, yeah, it is. And it's like, that's the coolest name ever.
Well, it sounds like someone who should have been in Spandau Ballet in the 1980s.
Well, what's cool is, like, his mom does mariachi, so you would assume.
Ooh, no way.
Yeah.
See, I'm learning too.
But the thing is, we started, and it felt really good, but COVID happened.
Yeah.
And then I remember I was talking about this not too long ago. I felt like, here goes another band that's just going to end. You know, it doesn't matter. It felt right. But either way, we found a way to still keep getting together. And we just kept moving and pushing forward. Eric eventually left. We got another bass player. And then another bass player. And then another bass player. And but we kept pushing. Like, the rest of the band, we just loved what we were doing. We just, all we were missing was a bass player. And then in comes Santi. We had been in constant communication, but it just didn't pan out between some of the bass players. Mm-hmm. Finally, the timing was right, and it was another situation, like you said, when you know, you just know. And we got together, and it was instantly like, okay, this is Eastmoon.
Lucky,
this is the band.
lucky number 5.
And I did the most Chicago thing. I know Santi. He's been in the car before. We've talked back and forth for years. I used my most Chicago accent to describe him, like Santi.
I don't mind. That's not even my first name. My first name's Juan.
I know.
Man, why are you telling people your government name?
It's okay.
Your government name. And so here you are. And again, this EP, I was telling David before you got here, like, it has that kind of 90s edgy indie rock vibe that I came up with. Like, I love the sound. There's a little hint of danger, but also a ton of melody too.
Yeah, you have no idea how much that means to me. Like, I told Davey, because Davey came and sat in my car before, a little after he sat in your car. And obviously Tera knows how I feel. Obviously Santi as well. But I remember growing up, you know, trying to send you demos, and they were terrible. Like, I knew they weren't good.
Did it ever play you?
Never.
Okay,
never.
sorry.
No, don't worry about it. I didn't. The quality was never there.
Okay.
But, you know, my heart.
So
my
good ear.
passion-
Good ear.
Yeah. But the thing is, you know, I grew up listening to the stuff that you were putting out, the stuff that you were plugging. So to hear you say that does really mean a lot to me personally.
You know, I listened. I was unfamiliar with the band, and Santi reached out, and I know Santi, and I trust him. I'm like, I'll give this band a shot. Like, and it was instant. Like, I got it. Like, it just,
thank you,
instant connection. And I would have told Santi, maybe I'm not feeling this. No, I'm feeling it. So here we are.
Thank you. Yes.
Real quick, I want to mention this is what we call a mid-roll ad.
All right.
Eastmoon. So May 19th. I am participating in the Fight for Air Climb along with the American Lung Association. You can be part of the Con Carne team. How, you ask? How can you be part of this exclusive elite team of climbers? Go to fightforairclimb.org/Chicago, click register as a team member, and search for my team, Con Carne. Or if you don't want to hang out with me, I get it. I'll be sweaty that day. You can start your own team. Fightforairclimb.org/Chicago. That was painless, right? A little bit.
It was nice.
Conversational.
Yeah. It was informative.
Yeah, native advertising.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so let's talk about this EP, which, again, you will be celebrating at Burlington, where we are steps away from.
Yes, sir. Friday,
as we're
April
recording
12th.
this. I walked in there tonight, and I think it was The Bachelor they were watching, whatever the fuck it was. They had it as loud as could be.
Yep.
It was louder than an Eastmoon show in there. I'm like, I don't know if I can stay in here as they're doing this.
Yeah, that's understandable. And honestly, when it's hot outside, it's really hot in there as well.
Yeah.
So it's one of those places where, like, yeah.
You remember being there.
So the song that hooked me in was Deaf Ears. The video for this shows how thoroughly, how intensely you rock. And I'm assuming that was the mission statement. You said to whoever was directing this needs to be us in 3.5 minutes or however long it is.
Well, yeah, I remember I talked to Arnley. He's with Sleepwalker Studios, and myself and DJ know him He did a music video for DJ's old band Low Country, and that was the thing. We're like, you know what? We've came out with other music. We did a DIY music video, but this is really going to be the introduction to this band, and we just want to show a lot of action. And sure enough, he came out and he said, "Okay, when my hand goes up, you know, I'm focusing on you. If I go like this, bring more intensity." And we said, "Okay." So we went. We did 2 hardcore performances, and then he's like, "Okay, now just you." And all of us kind of were like, all right, well, let's just keep pushing.
See, that sounds like fun to me.
Yeah,
It was a lot
so
of
much
fun.
fun.
it was a lot of fun. It was cathartic in a way too, and it was funny because right off the bat, Santi showed up with a brand new bass that he didn't even take out of the box.
Yeah, like it was shipped to me, and Adrian from Burst, I had it shipped to his house because I didn't trust my mailroom, and so literally drove to his house. I was like, "Can't talk, dude, gotta go," and went straight there, put it on a table, cut it open. There was no strings on it. The guy sent it without strings.
Yeah.
So I rush, take a lift to Chicago Music Exchange, grab strings. Then to make it even better, the driver, I did it to where it was just going to be a 5-minute stop and take me back. He left. and then I'm like, "Hey man, cancel the ride so I can get another lift." He's like, "No, I'm coming back."
No.
He was a mile and a half
Just
away.
wasting my time at this point.
So we get back, but everything worked out. It was so
Yeah.
much fun.
That was just it
And,
was funny though.
we had some help too, and that just made it more fun.
It always feels like I'm talking to a brick wall, try to reach you, but you never take my call. Communication's a drag.
Yeah, it really is. And, I mean, you could be talking to somebody directly and they still don't get it. So they did pick up the call. They're just, their ears are deaf.
So thinking about the 90s, which is a touchstone for a lot of us, I mean, did you come up, you mentioned Nirvana, but did you come up listening to a lot of like the hardcore from that period?
Yeah, actually, I feel like Nirvana was kind of a gateway to hardcore.
Sure.
Because I heard that and it was so aggressive that when I heard things that were like softer on the radio and everything like that, I leaned towards the more aggressive side. So then eventually I started listening to like more like the what you'd call HXC and stuff like that, like bands I guess in the later 90s, early 2000s that were coming out, like Every Time I Die and Converge and Dillinger Escape Plan, and I guess those are more on like the metal side as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I honestly, most of my bands until a certain point, actually one of mine, Tera and David from Bad Channel's best friends, he was the vocalist in my band, and I was never the vocalist. I was always the guitar player, and we played in a hardcore thrash band. And eventually he was going to have a kid. He wanted to bow out of playing music, and he kept telling me, "You should just sing. You should just do something different." And he ended up passing away, and it was kind of around that time where like I wasn't really, 100% sure. So I feel like a little bit, I mean, I hate to be like that, but I guess a little bit I kind of do it for him too, because like he was one of those guys that was like actually the biggest asshole you've ever met. But he always like would tell me nice things, so it's kind of like I took it to heart when he did.
Did you have the confidence right out of the gate?
Oh, I had confidence. All right. So when I was younger, my parents, they were in bands. And so I grew up like my mom trying to teach me how to sing and everything like that. But I felt really good about playing music. But when it came to that, I started playing hardcore and I stopped singing. So it was kind of like I had to find, it was almost like a new horizon, because I had gotten used to not singing for so long, and then everything I listened to was so heavy that to try to sing like, in a prettier sense, I guess, in a more like
Clean vocals.
Yeah, clean vocal sense, there you go, but still try to make it sound aggressive. Like I took a while to find that balance, and I feel like now with like especially this album, I feel like I finally understand where I'm going with it.
Let's talk a little bit about that approach with Walk Away. It builds. I love the build. It builds to the point where you're absolutely howling into the microphone.
Yeah.
It just and then the lyrics kind of become remorseful coming out of that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't like to get too on the nose of what the subject is because I really like interpretation.
I agree. It is unique to every listener's experience.
So, with that being said, that song is definitely about just knowing when you're in a situation and, like, as much as you want it to work out, like, whether it's a friendship, whether it's, you know, maybe you're at a good job but you feel like that's not really where you're supposed to be. Just knowing literally when it's time to walk away. And so that's why it's kind of like you go back and forth in your own head in these situations because you're like, am I doing the right thing? Am I not doing the right thing? And you really won't know until you make that decision. And that's why now it's time to walk away. And, you know.
I appreciate what you're saying, but there's a lot of non-abstract lyrical content.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, jumping from walk away to everything, I'm so sick of wasting any more time with you. I just want to do the thing that we want to do.
Yes.
I mean, not a whole lot of ambiguity there in concept. Also, going back to this idea of momentum, because I do love the way songs build. Drown, that has another slow build, and it really takes off about 2/3 of the way into it. Like that final act of the song just blows up.
That's my favorite song on the EP.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It seems like it would be a fun one to play.
Yeah, it is.
So, yeah, with Drown, basically the riff in the beginning with the delay, that was something that I was messing with for a while, and I almost didn't even think it fit. And Tera kept saying, I really like that riff. And then the rest of the guys started saying, I really like that riff. So we started going with it, but I was just like, I don't want the song to be the same way the whole way through. That's just boring. So we just kept playing with it. And the thing with the band is, like, we're a band. Like, we're not an individual writer. You know, everybody gets together and kind of throws their ideas in the ringer, and then we come out what's going to work. And sometimes we just play and just what's going to happen next, like what feels right. And that's what felt right. We started, like, honing it a little bit better, and it's really, like, I almost get a visual of, like, the beginning, because the song is Drown. It's literally about drowning in depression, drowning in financial problems and whatever, which is probably part of the depression. But it's one of those things where, like, you already kind of, like, feel like you're drowning at this point, and then all of a sudden that part's when the nighttime hits and the reality sets in, you know, where you're in a shipwreck, you're stranded, and you're like, oh, nothing's gonna happen out of this. Like, I'm fucked. And that's when that part comes in.
I'm glad you shared those details about the song. I mean, that kind of helps my enjoyment of it even more.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Like this,
You know what? Touching on what he said about us, like, being a band and adding our own thing. When we originally started talking, I was still in the Burst and Bloom, and when the Burst and Bloom stopped, we played our last show at the Soothsayer Pop Punk Pizza After Party with Pet Symmetry, and it was like the perfect ending. Like, I felt like, all right, we did a lot in the several years
had
we were
closure.
together. Yeah, it was also the first time I've been in a band that ended on good terms. So
that's rare.
A few months later, when Jacob and I were talking, I was like, you know what, man, I don't want to be in a band. I just don't. Like, if you need me to fill in until you guys find somebody, I can totally do that. That'll be cool. You're a friend. Why not? And then he sent me the EP, the demos of it, and I was like, oh shit, this is awesome.
It is.
I want to be a part of this. And I got to jam with him. I remember the specific date because it was the day after my mom's birthday, January 19th. We jammed, and the next day they were recording. And I was like, damn, I don't know these songs well enough, and I wish I could be in the recording. And I wasn't. And then they sent me the unmixed stuff, just like the rough mix, and a few weeks went by, and I was like, hey, can I go and record bass, please? And I got to do it. Now that was, like, so cool. This what was it, Always Be Genius?
Yeah,
Studios?
Always Be Genius and Crown Point.
So many awesome bands have recorded there, so it was just cool being in another studio that
Action
has a lot of
Adventure,
history.
Real Friends.
Yes.
Yeah, and so now it's cool because, like, one of the first things all four of them told me when it was like, all right, I'm playing in this band now, was like, you don't have to play it the way you heard it. Like, do whatever you want to do. And I was like, oh, sweet. This is going to be so much fun.
So you can be creative.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, definitely. Like, everybody in the band is a different piece. You know, everybody adds something of their own, and like, it wouldn't be East Moon without this combination at this point. You know, so that was definitely, like, I told him, I actually did record the bass parts. So what happened was we recorded all 5 songs, everything except the harmonies, in one day. So we went in there, we recorded in like 11
Some of the
hours.
greatest records in the history of rock and roll were done that way.
So we did that, but I literally, we had a bass player that was supposed to come in, but that fell apart. So I honestly just kind of like came up with some of the stuff on the spot just based off of what I play on guitar. But I was like, hey man, if you want to be in this band and you really want to be in this band, you have freedom. Go ahead and do.
There
your
was
thing.
like a few days of a conversation of like, I don't want you to record unless you're gonna do this for
Just don't
real.
fuck with me.
I've been
He's like, you're
I've
gonna
had
be
my
on the
heart
record,
broken
and
before,
then
you know?
yeah.
Just don't fuck me. All right. So Burlington on the 12th, Friday the 12th, we can see you play. You'll have merch there. I want to talk about this particular piece of merch because this is fantastic. The East Moon Tea, and this ties back to a previous Con Carne guest. Look at that.
I'm actually wearing his shirt right now.
Oh, yeah, the Horror House. Vinny from the Horror House.
Yes, sir.
A beloved former guest. I just wore his Pee Wee Herman sweatpants around the house
Nice.
last weekend. Stylish for any occasion, although I mostly wear those at home. He designed this. This is a swipe of the Wild Stallions.
Yes.
Look, I love this. This is fantastic.
Another influence of ours.
And so the record will be there, obviously, for purchase at the Burlington,
Yes, sir.
which is amazing. And I get the sense that this is a band that just walks out of the house and doesn't check anything before they do it. Santi had a bass with no strings. You walked out of the house with this record. You haven't even listened to it yet. You don't even know.
Oh, we're saving it for the special occasion of all of us to listen to it together. We promised, you know.
Have a nice session first. and-
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I could live like East Moon. I need to open everything immediately, check it out.
No, don't get me wrong. I opened it and checked it out. I just
Okay.
didn't listen to it.
Fair.
I already know what the songs sound like. We'll do the listening party together.
This is when the cops pull us or come to our window because it's completely fogged over. Now it looks like trouble. See, I can never get the. I don't know
Wherever
how you
we
are-
go is trouble.
I don't
So.
know how you are with vehicles. I can never get the climate right.
Oh yeah, no, that happens
Always.
to me sometimes.
Always. And in Chicago, it's like,
Yeah.
forget it. It's
The
40
weather
degrees
doesn't
outside.
make up its own
No.
mind. Why would the weather inside the car make up its mind?
So I want to thank Davey. I've never called him Davey. I don't feel right doing
Yeah,
it. David
I mean,
Baxo.
everybody
Bad
calls
channel.
him David. That's my bad. I shouldn't have called him
David
David.
Baxo for the
Sorry.
delicious macarons. If you want to try them for yourself, if you're a horror movie fan, if you're a fan of Sweet Treat Delights, go buy his stuff at the Brewed, Brewed. It's a homophone, fantastic place over in Milwaukee, not far from where we are right now. East Moon, we can listen to you on Bandcamp. The album will be up by
Actually,
the 5th.
we're not on Bandcamp.
East
at the
Moon, we
moment.
can listen to you on Spotify. We can listen to you on YouTube Music, Apple Music,
Yeah, title,
Okay.
whatever.
Tidal.
We'll come to your house and play a show if
I wish
the
you
price
would.
is right.
I wish you would. And of course, the record available at Burlington. More shows, as mentioned, to come. This is the right EP at the right time. Nice job with this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I very much appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for meeting on a weekday, on a school night,
Yeah.
on a desolate strip of Fullerton Avenue. It is really kind of.
No, this is where the action is. You know, I work. Actually, that's how I know Vinny. We both work for Pro Wrestling Tees, which is like just a couple blocks up that way. And then one of my best friends that helped us with the music video, he runs freelance. And
Okay.
freelance wrestling, and they run shows out of Emporium.
I want to do something with freelance wrestling.
I'll tell him. He would
Please.
love that. He would love that.
I would
What's
love it.
right after the day after our show? That's
Yeah,
their
actually, the
next.
day after
Yeah.
their show, they'll be at Logan Square Auditorium.
Yeah.
So I'll let him know tomorrow.
We'll be there,
when I see
too.
him.
I got to go for the first time to freelance Emporium,
Yeah.
and that was so awesome.
I bet.
I already loved wrestling, but I'd never went to an indie show before,
Yeah.
and it was just the crowd made it so
I
much
love
better.
indie shows.
He
Yeah,
got to
'cause
see me get threatened by 3 different wrestlers.
Yeah,
I just love being right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's no guard.
Barricade,
No
yeah.
barricade. There's like the wrestlers make it a point to jump.
You hear everything.
Yeah, exactly.
It's awesome.
It's cool.
All right. Love the band.
Thank
Keep
you.
doing what you do. Thanks for jumping in the car.
Thanks for
Thanks,
having
Chance.
us.
Thank you.